Whether it's a look of confusion, a nuanced touch, a lingering kiss, or processing the loss of Lee Sizemore while simultaneously realizing you're in a simulation, Thandie, you elevate this show with your dynamic and relatable performance. Elegance personified. Westworld is at its core a science fiction show that asks the question, what does it mean to be human? Biblical themes of divine power, good and evil, man versus machine are all underscored by a larger question this season. Is any of this real? We're familiar with most of the advanced tech in Westworld: tablets, apps, motorcycles, and automatic weapons. Even this drone doesn't stretch our imaginations. But the hosts, the Forge, and now this Rehoboam, on the other hand, are wildly futuristic and complex. All of these things have something in common. Each is a different kind of simulation. I found myself asking, what is a simulation? And if Maeve can be in one, is it possible everything in the show is simulated? Are there humans in a simulation? Am I living in a simulation? How would I know? What's real? Is anything real? It's a bit like a Russian Matryoshka doll. Each layer you peel back leads to another, smaller but identical layer, and another, and you can just keep going on that way forever. How do we trust that the show isn't a simulation inside a simulation inside a simulation? Oh my god. Westworld already has a visual language for how they indicate characters are in a digitally simulated environment.
At which point our film frame goes from spherical to anamorphic, which is the aspect ratio.
All of this is
because that is the language we used in season 2 to depict simulation.
The philosopher Nick Bostrom posited a theory in a paper aptly titled, "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?" It's a trippy thought experiment, and the bottom line is this.
Either we're going to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality, or civilization will cease to exist.
Nick Bostrom's theory, as it relates to Westworld, boils down to 3 options. 1. Human civilization continues on and eventually goes extinct. Dolores destroys us all, for example. 2. Humans don't run simulations because it's unethical and leads to extreme pain and suffering. 3. Humans are running simulations, and possibly everything exists within one. We can eliminate option 2 right away. It's clear that humans do run simulations in this show. According to the internet, simulation is defined 3 ways: as the imitation of a situation or process, the action of pretending, deception, the production of a computer model of something, especially for the purpose of study. Based on these 3 definitions, almost everything in the show is a simulation. The park itself with its storylines, the hosts, which are deceptively human. The park is storing data on guests as a way of capitalizing on it later. Maybe it's to recreate an exact replica of someone that's died. Maybe it's to destroy the world. Either way, the Forge is a computer model designed to analyze and study that data. Even Rehoboam is a computer model that analyzes and simulates trillions of potential individual outcomes. And yes, Maeve's mind is a simulation inside Warworld, a digital simulation. Obviously, the world of the show has no problem with simulation. So we're left with 2 options. Either this season is the story of how Dolores brings humanity to extinction, or it's another variation on an already complex look at simulation. Maybe this is their angle.
40 years ago, we had Pong, like 2 rectangles and a dot. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people playing simultaneously, and it's getting better every year. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then the games will become indistinguishable from reality.
The bottom line is this. The show has to delineate, at times, a clear difference between the digitally simulated world and the real world, even if the real world turns out to be a simulation. Otherwise, we can't trust the show to make sense. There are no consequences, and any investment in the story becomes pointless. As we watch the humans struggle with the question, is any of this real? It's right to ask, if they can't tell, does it really matter? This is a major theme of the show. But if the audience can't tell what's real, they'll stop watching. And to this point, the show has done an impeccable job of weaving a sophisticated mosaic of timelines, environments, both digital and real, and characters that draw us in and make us feel. I'm looking at you, Thandie. Thanks for watching. I love Westworld. I'm making these videos because I want to promote and uplift one of my favorite shows. I just can't get enough. Thanks HBO, thanks Lisa Joy, thanks Jonathan Nolan, but especially thanks this week to Thandie Newton. You're awesome.
Welcome to the end of the game.